Hi, I'm Gordon from Camera Labs, and this is my first looks review of the Sigma 35mm f1.2 DG2 Art, a high-end prime lens with a very bright aperture. Launched in September 2025 in Sony E and Leica L mounts, the 35-1.2 DG2 Art costs around $1,550 or £1,300, with the latest pricing linked to the description. It's the follow-up to their original 35-1.2 Art launched back in 2019, so 6 years ago, and promises to not only be smaller and lighter, but better quality too, for roughly the same price. In this video I'll give you a taster of my upcoming in-depth review with results from near to far to show you what it's capable of. I've already completed my in-depth reviews of the new 135-1.4 and 20-200mm launched alongside it though, so do check them out if you're interested in those lenses. Measuring 81mm in diameter, 113mm long and weighing 745 grams, it's not an insubstantial lens, but it is noticeably less hefty than its predecessor. It's shorter, narrower and around 2/3 the weight. Meanwhile, the 72mm filter thread is also more affordable than the 82mm thread on the original Mark I model. It's a well-featured lens with a declickable aperture ring, customizable focus hold button, smooth manual focusing ring, and a lens hood included in the package. The build quality is excellent, with the lens sealed throughout against dust and moisture, including a rubber grommet to the mount. Like all of Sigma's lenses, it's made in their Aizu factory in Japan. I tested the E-mount version of the 35-1.2 DG2 Art on a Sony a7 IV body, and you can see it here focusing swiftly between the bottle and the background, and this is of course with the aperture wide open. Set it to continuous AFC and the focusing becomes almost instant, and the motors are effectively silent. As a quick preview of the portrait quality, here's a brief video showing the lens wide open at f1.2 where there's substantial blurring possible in the background. 35 is a great focal length for presentations, and in fact I use that for all of my YouTube videos for both A and B roll. The lens is also pretty well behaved for focus breathing, with the view only changing slightly as you focus from infinity to the closest distance and back again. Okay, now for a distant real-life quality test with bright and peer angled so that details run into the corners. This is a JPEG out of camera with all of the lens corrections set to auto in the body. You're looking at the 35-1.2 DG2 Art here at f1.2, and if we take a close look in the middle, you'll see a tremendous amount of detail right out of the gate, and no need to close the aperture any further to see any benefit in sharpness in the middle of the frame. Head into the corner and the lens optics inevitably suffer from some darkening due to vignetting, but this is mostly compensated by the profile in camera. Meanwhile, the vignetting does become optically corrected as you reduce the aperture. Now let's see how it performs for still portraits, here of course at f1.2, where the subject enjoys decent separation from the background. Taking a closer look reveals pin-sharp details around my eyes and stubble, with the focus already falling off before my ears. Meanwhile, the background is rendered into smooth bokeh with no distracting busyness to worry about. Next, for a closer look at the bokeh, here my ornament test taken from the closest focusing distance of 28cm, and that's a couple of centimeters closer than its predecessor, so not a big difference. The star on the top of the ornament measures 4cm across, so clearly this lens is not going to particularly impress macro shooters, but bokeh fans will certainly enjoy the potential for transforming point sources of light into large blobs. Like most large aperture lenses, these are rendered as elongated cat's-eye shapes towards the corners, but they are pretty well behaved in terms of minimizing outlining and onion ring textures within. Their shapes become more uniform at f2, but it's not until 2.8 onwards that they're roughly similar across the whole frame, and at this point you're also going to notice the shape of the 11-bladed diaphragm system. And that's all I have time for this quick first looks review. Once I've completed all my tests, I'll publish a more detailed video expanding on what you've seen here and with many more samples and comparisons. But hopefully this video has been useful as a preview, and for my results so far, the new 35-1.2 DG2 Art is looking like another great performer from Sigma, capable of delivering pin-sharp details with beautifully rendered bokeh from a design that is much more manageable than its predecessor. So if you love the 35mm focal length and want the maximum opportunity for background blur, coupled with modern autofocus and features, this is going to be the lens for you. Obviously 35mm is one of the most common focal lengths around though, so there are plenty of other choices available, including dimmer and more affordable options from Sigma alone, including the f1.4 Art and f2 models, and I've got reviews of both of them if you're interested. Once again, my complete in-depth review is on its way, and in the meantime, I'd love to hear what you think of this lens in the comments. And don't forget that I've already completed my in-depth reviews of the 135 1.4 and 20 to 200mm super zoom lenses that were released alongside the 35 1.2. That's lots for you to watch, so I'm going to let you get on with it right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.